7 night for Halas, what it is, what it do. Since Bobby Ingram, Curtis Ennis, know that we been loyal even when we wasn't winning. A trusted source for the news. 7 night for Halas.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. 79th and Halas, episode 201. The NFL regular season is in full effect. It's your guys, Scott and Flows here, man. Flows is back after a break from last week.
You're going to have to deal with my voice being hoarse. And if you followed us over the years, this isn't the first time I've had a hoarse voice. It kind of happens yearly. Well, it used to happen yearly, especially before the pandemic. Getting a cold or something, bronchitis comes up. After bronchitis comes up, I get hoarse. So I'm a little bit hoarse, but what's most important is that I'm back and blessing 79th and Halas feed because you've had to listen to Scott for a long time. And I know you didn't follow 79th and Halas because of Scott. You followed because of me.
I think that's bullshit.
And so the takes, the energy is back. So proceed, sir.
Anyway, you know to follow us on Twitter at BobChairScott, at Flows Angelini. Visit the bcnet.com, patreon.com/Barbers Chair Network. The preview podcast was free last week. It will not be free this week. So I hope y'all enjoyed the free podcast. Had a great interview with Dominique Foxworth of ESPN. If you have not listened to that, if you have not watched that, go watch that right now. It's on the bcnet.com. You can get all that right now. So do all of that, stay in tune. And if you don't want to subscribe for the $10 feed, you know what I'm saying? You don't want everything. You just want your 79th and Halas content, then subscribe to the $5 79th and Halas tier. You can do all of that now. So you can just get your 79th and Halas content, our preview pods, our exclusive interviews, the whole nine. So check that out, man. But I'm ready to talk some football. What was before we get in that? What was your thoughts about my interview with Dominique Foxworth? What was your thoughts on what he said in just the interview?
No, I mean, I don't have a problem with the guy. Of course, I didn't get a chance to sit in because I was sick as a dog last week. But I didn't see him. I think he probably learned some new information about the team because he probably thought to himself, okay, you have a young, talented quarterback like Justin Fields. I don't see big names. And because I don't see big names, this must be trash or a bad situation. And it's not his fault because – I mean, when you're national media, and I don't want to use national media as a dirty word, but when I say national media, I say that when you're national media, you can't focus on every team. You know what I mean? You can't. When I would see Stacey Dales with the Bears, I know, okay, for this training camp, this is her team. But then I see, she's covered the Lions, the Vikings, the Packers, and she then will be a national person who other national people will have to look to for guidance, but you're not going to see Foxworth. You're not going to see anybody else at these places. I don't see like someone like Adam Rank. Shout out to him. I saw him at one of the Bears camp. And that was literally just one time. So I wouldn't trust him either to know what's going on with the Bears team because it's impossible when you're working for a big, huge corporation like Fox, like an ESPN, like an NFL or any other organization to know what's happening with every team. So the first thing you're going to think is big name. If the Bears would have signed OBJ in the offseason, they'd have said, oh, man, it's a good roster. It's good to go. I'd have said, still not enough. Still not enough. And why you going to get someone who's old and ailing and is not who they used to be? So it's just different. I thought it was a good interview. And I think he understood Bears fans' positions. And I always realized Bears fans are passionate. And because Bears fans are passionate, they're going to, we're going to be angry. You're going to be angry or you're going to be excited. It's just part of the game.
And also, shout out to Dominique for wearing it yesterday. He changed his outfit to Justin Fields in the rain, even his header, which was quite funny. Well, if you haven't heard the interview, watch the interview, go watch it right now, man. But we're here to talk about a nice Bears was a 19-10 win. Should have been 22-10, but Mr. Cairo Santos was missed 3 kicks. So, you know what I'm saying? He missed 3. It was very shocking to see him miss 3. But just overall thoughts before we get into our, breakdown of the game. What did you think? Now, this is your first game you missed in a long time.
Yeah, I haven't. Well, I missed the Vikings last year because I just didn't care. Not necessarily I didn't care. It's the fact that toward the end of the season, I knew that this game was a wash, and Nagy's about to get fired. Pace is about to get fired. I'm tired. I have a lot of stuff doing. I don't have time for it. And so that's the last game I missed. And so this one, I wanted to go to the game. Trust me, I know. But Scott can attest to it. He's here. He heard me coughing like crazy.
Yeah, I knew at 3 a.m. you wasn't going to this game.
At 3 a.m. I'm I was just had a fit like 30 minutes ago. I had to use my inhaler for bronchitis to be got a cough now. Use my inhaler to deal with it. So I say that to say I really wanted to go, but it's unfortunate that I didn't get a chance to. But good thing is I'm glad that hopefully God willing, if I got myself signed up in time for the Packers game. I know Jonathan and Scott did, but hopefully if I am, I can go.
You guys know Jonathan is Pappy.
If not, it's all good. But hopefully I can go there. If not, I'll definitely be there for the next game, which is
the 25th against the Houston Texans at home.
Houston Texans at home. But overall thoughts on the game. I thought that was a very good Bears win. I thought we saw the maturation of Justin Fields in real time and his resiliency. And it also, it's funny because today made me realize I think reinforced for a lot of Bears fans how much of a prospect Justin Fields is. You know what I mean? So if we're going to do a scale of 1 to 10, so I'm going to the top of my frame. This is a 10. To the bottom, this is a 1. Mitchell Trubisky on the scale was right here. This was his ceiling. Now, as you see with a better coach, he can be a game manager until you get a superstar quarterback. But Justin Fields is a superstar potential. He can be incredible. For instance, on his rollout to Dante Pettis, he saw the rush coming. And he wasn't even doing a read at that point. Once he saw the rush coming, he literally lured them down. And as he lured them down, a split-second cut not only knocked the first end that was coming into him, that end then knocked it to the other end, and that allowed him to roll out, have nothing but green grass. And then shout out to David Montgomery, who then moved to that side of the field, which pulled the defense that way. And, of course, then shout out to Dante Pettis for pulling himself away from the defense and leaving himself wide open. And from then there, Dante Pettis made his magic work. Equiminius St. Brown, who Scott told me yesterday, I didn't realize, his brother is Amon-Ra St. Brown. Both went to freaking powerhouses in football.
And both scored touchdowns within seconds of each other yesterday.
Seconds. So Equiminius went to Servite High School, which is why the only thing that I envy about the Southern Los Angeles, outside of the great weather, is the high school football scene is ridiculous. And if you know who Mater D is, one of the coldest high school football teams, I can't tell you how many niggas are in the NFL.
Well, the sports scene in general, because LA got a lot of hoopers too.
Yeah, of course. But I can't explain to you how just insane.
Because they high schools look like colleges. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, the fields look massive.
It's because it's in Orange County, I believe. It's in Santa Ana. Is that Orange County?
Yeah, that's Orange County.
And I'm trying to find a picture of Mater D just so I can press this against the screen. And I go, you kidding me? You see that?
Yeah. But see, that's a couple high schools look like that. I did when I was doing I did like a Puma shoot, and a lot of them joints look like that. Like, they look like legit college campuses.
It's ridiculous. And then Servite is in Anaheim, which I don't know where Anaheim's at. Is that Southern California still?
And no, Anaheim is basically Santa Ana. It's like across the street.
So, sad to say, sorry I got into a thing, but Equiminius stayed a good block. Really like his tenacity. He's going to be a really much better receiver than I thought he was going to be. I didn't realize he was ahead of Pringle on the depth chart.
Yeah, EQ had a real good camp.
I thought it was Mooney then Pringle, but it's Mooney, Equiminius, then Pringle.
Yeah, and I think it's mainly because Pringle didn't really practice in camp like at all.
True.
So that's what I think has something to do. I think as the season goes on, Pringle will be number 2 on the depth chart. Also considering that, how good he was in Kansas City. I mean, he led the Kansas City Chiefs in receiving touchdowns last year. He was pretty much Patrick Mahomes' deep threat. And we actually got to talk to him today when I went up to Halas. By the way, I thought there was no practice there. I literally drove up there for like 30 minutes. Like we talked.
No, I wasn't. I should have warned that the day after is not practice. It's just interviews.
Went up there.
But it's good to get a good perspective from him.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool. I didn't have a problem driving, but we talked to Flus, Pringle, and Roquan. And Pringle was basically saying that, just talking about, comparing Justin to Mahomes and saying how, like, their confidence and, rallying the troops when they were down. You know what I'm saying? And just basically just saying that, he sees a lot of similarities between the two. And Keyshawn Johnson said the same thing this morning on Keyshawn, Max, and Jay. And he was like, man, he had two Mahomes moments last night. And Max Brown was like, the shovel pass to David Montgomery, Patrick Mahomes-esque. And so, it was just real good. But yeah, continue with your point.
No, Byron Pringle was not the leading touchdown. He had 5. Travis Kelce had 9.
I mean, out of the wide receivers.
Let's see. What's the nigga name? He on the Dolphins?
Tyreek Hill.
I can't believe I didn't remember his name.
Because Tua forgot his name yesterday too.
Nope. Tyreek Hill had more. Maybe you thinking playoffs?
I don't know. I thought I could have sworn it said maybe it was red zone touchdowns.
Could have been red.
Maybe it was red zone touchdowns. How many Tyreek had last year?
9.
Nah. Okay. Well, either way, he had a solid year. 5 touchdowns, pretty good. That's more than any Bears wide receiver last year.
But back to my my point about the game. What I liked is the team is pretty much who I thought they were. They're the Bears versions of Ricky's Boys Don't Quit. And if you don't know what that is, when Ricky Renteria was the the White Sox manager, they were known for the tenacity to not give up in games. Even if they were down runs, they would still put their all into it. And we knew that they weren't where they wanted to be just yet, but they weren't going to quit. So they got the moniker, Ricky's Boys Don't Quit, because the talent is close, or the talent hasn't become who they wanted to be yet, but they're fighters, and they'll be in the games, a majority of the games. And with the Bears, I think that's exactly who you see. They will be in the games. The Niners, I just didn't think Trey Lance was ready yet. I still think he has a bright future ahead of him. But I thought to myself, okay, like right now in this situation, you know who's going to be the person called on this game. It's Deebo Samuel, especially with George Kittle out. He's going to rely on Deebo Samuel. And if you key on him, you can have a good game. And the Bears started keying him in that second half. They didn't score after that. In addition to a great punch out by Jalen Johnson in that first quarter when Deebo had I don't know if it was a jet sweep or a bubble screen to him.
It was like a bubble screen. Jaquan knocked him on his ass, and Jalen put with the strip.
So it was great to see. Kyler Gordon, I thought, had a good time. He just got baptized because Kyler Gordon is a cover corner, and he is going to go up against these people. And it's unfortunate because offensive linemen and cornerbacks have such a hard job, because you can be great for 50 snaps, but if you allow 1 touchdown or 1 sack, but man, you're weak at. You know what I'm saying? You got to be perfect for your job. And I thought that Kyler Gordon was great. Jaquan Brisker is going to be a stud. Jalen Johnson continues to be Jalen Johnson. I'm glad he's not hurt. Eddie Jackson is back. Oh, it's a good pick. I saw the instincts there. He had came up, not in a blitz position, but almost like at that stud position where you're stud. We used to run a stud in high school. We ran a 3-3-5, and a stud is the linebacker and the safety. And he came up there, and then he just watched Trey's eyes. And as Trey moved that way, he bit on it. And once he bit on it, good interception. Speed is still there, which was cool to see. And I haven't been this excited about a Bears win in a season and a half.
It's been a long time.
You know what I'm saying? At least maybe 2 seasons. Because we know
honestly, probably not since 2018, bro. Like
probably because
2019 was just bad.
Disappointing.
Yeah, disappointing.
And then 2020 sucked, and then 2021 sucked.
2020, we was the last wild card. I'll be forgetting they made the playoffs in 2020.
I know. And so when I say that, that's not to say this isn't a playoff team. Don't get me wrong. They're going to lose most of these games. I'm still predicting 5 or 6 wins. Don't get it twisted. But there are things I like. David Montgomery is still a great running back. He's a great pass catcher. He's a great run blocker. His blocking is still good, which is why I would never move on to just Khalil Herbert. Khalil Herbert can't block. David Montgomery can block, and David Montgomery can catch. Khalil can't. Khalil Herbert, on the other hand, of course, I give it to him. He hit holes well. He looked good. And it's unfortunate because in this rain, both teams didn't get a chance to have a more explosive pass game. But when the conditions let up, the Bears took advantage. Now, by the time it was in the end, you're not gonna pass. I was watching the game with our mother, and I'm like, this is over. I'm like, there's no way the Niners can make a pass. It's impossible. It's impossible. But when Niners fans said, "Oh, it was a weather," I'm like, but you had ample opportunity before that. Before that happened, you could have scored. You didn't. The Bears did. And so don't blame the Bears for scoring at a time when you should have been scoring. And when the Bears realized it was wet, what did they do? They didn't pass the ball. So I'm not going to pass now. Even when they could have attempted to pass to get a bigger lead, they thought, I just have to run. And on top of that, they were holding that ball to make sure it didn't fumble. And so the Niners didn't play smart. The Bears played smart. 3 penalties to 11 penalties. I love the discipline. I love the defense. Them flying, and they didn't send one blitz. Not one blitz.
That shows you how much they honor Trey Area.
And they had a 39 to 37% north of that pressure rate. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. Justin Fields, his improvisation, his running skills. Now he understands get out the pocket if I see it. If it's collapse move, that first half he wanted to be in the pocket.
Yeah.
I'm like, move. There's no reason for you to stay. If the pocket's there, of course stay. Stay there, do what you have to do, make a read, make a pass. But if it's collapsing on you, move. And once he did, that's what he was. That's the same how it was with him in Ohio State. Of course, I would know. I'm always going to call myself a Buckeye. I don't have a degree from there, but I've loved him since I was a kid. I'm a Buckeye. I don't care. And I've watched him. And then when I watched him there, when the pocket is clean, he stayed. But if you remember Justin Fields' first touchdown as a Buckeye, what was it? It was a rush. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful game. It was a rush. And so when I see that, I think about that, I realize Justin should never forget that he is athletically gifted. Take advantage of it. And then once he started doing that, what did they have to do? They had to honor his feet. So they started to go back in coverage. And once they went back in coverage, he sat in that pocket. And that throw to Equanimeous St. Brown for the touchdown, you and Herb were saying, Brian Pringle was wide open. I saw it all 22. He was. Here's the thing. By the time Byron Pringle turned his head toward him, the read to Equanimeous was already there.
Yeah.
The read was already there.
Yeah, and because we were literally in the box looking at, and we were both like, oh shit, Pringle's open. We didn't see EQ coming up, and Pringle gave a shout out to Darnell Mooney in his presser today. It was like, if it wasn't for Moon with that block, I wouldn't have even been that open, period. But Justin explained it, and I put the Dennis Rodman gift because he explained it in like football jargon. Only you and people who actually played the game will actually understand. But he's basically saying, oh, I saw Pringle, but he was like my second or third read. And that's something that's been impressive about Justin is his reads. Like he's going through all of them quickly. And as somebody, as us who watched Mr. Trubisky for 4 seasons, he had trouble when it wasn't his first read. And you're seeing the complete opposite of that with Justin Fields. Now, my overall thoughts on the game before we get into
also, I wanted to find it. This is Justin Fields' first series, 2nd and 4 against Florida.
That's his first ever Ohio State touchdown.
To the crib.
Okay.
To the crib. Now, of course, I didn't know he was going to be a stud. I just said that was good read option. So,
but first of all, the whole experience yesterday, that was a monsoon of rain. Like when I left out for Soldier Field, it wasn't raining too much when I woke up in the morning. The minute I left the house, it was raining hard. But when I got on the expressway, nigga, it was pouring. And it was just like literally when you leave the Waldron lot and you take the walk up there, it was ridiculous. And I was soaked. And the worst part about it was I got all these wet clothes on and they had the air conditioning on high. But I just really like the adjustments that we saw in this game. You know what I'm saying? And the first half looked like every Bears, offense I ever seen in my life. And it was just really frustrating. And it was just like, man, same old Bears. Like, when am I ever going to see a good offense? You know what I'm saying? And that was just like the frustration. I even remember I was on the elevator with 85 Bill Otis Wilson. And he had this look on his face like, these niggas done brought me out here again for the same offensive bullshit. And it was alumni night yesterday. So it was alumni day. So it was a whole bunch of alumni day. I ran into Otis Wilson. I ran into that police officer, Peanut Tillman. I ran into Spice Adams. I ran into Mike Brown, and also Bernard Berry, who I thought was John Morant. I didn't, so either that was had a whole bunch of Bears guys in the building, but just the way they change gears, and and Flu said that they have adjustments every play, but when they went halftime, they went over some stuff. Luke and Justin talked, and it's like, okay, this is what we got to do differently. And you just saw the switch really good, and I gotta give some love to the defense, because last year's defense loses this game, like for sure.
Yeah.
Like, remember last year we would have close games, we're tied, or we'll take the lead, and they'll just let them march right up down the field. And Justin gave credit to the defense too in the first half by keeping it a close game. That strip of Debo in the first quarter is a game changer, because if that don't happen, they probably score a touchdown there, and that continually changed the game. Yeah. So, like you said, I don't think this team is going to be good. And remember, kids, Bears fans are the only fan base that's not allowed to celebrate their wins, according to Twitter. I had all these Niners fans in my mentions for 2 weeks. I didn't say nothing to them, just 2 weeks talking crap. But now when we win, all of a sudden it's enjoy your Super Bowl. Like, no, nigga, enjoy your loss. Enjoy being 0-1. And that's what you need to enjoy. But it was just this team, as I felt in camp, as I felt this week in practice, as I felt in the stadium yesterday, they really like each other. Mm-hmm. It's a youthful energy. It's one of the youngest teams in the league now. It's a youthful energy. And even on the Khalil Herbert touchdown, I don't know if you noticed, Justin celebrating before the ball, and then he's celebrating next to him, he scored. These dudes love each other. And the anthem, which we all know is Booth, but the anthem, they had Jim Cornelius, who does all the Blackhawks anthems. He sung it, and the crowd was ready to go. And then shout out to DJ Jay Illa, who's the Bears DJ. He was killing yesterday. So after the anthem, he played Grove Street Party, and the whole Bears sideline with the towels just rolling to me. I'm like, oh, this is like a college game. So they hyped, the crowd hyped, and that just kind of set the tone. And even after the EQ touchdown, it's remember how in the 85 NFC Championship game against the Rams, and in the 2006 NFC Championship game against the Saints, it's the snow just started coming down and it looked beautiful, on NFL films. It's EQ scored that touchdown. Jay Illa played put on for my seat. It was rocking, rocking in Soldier Field when the rain was just coming down. It was cool to watch. And so I just love the chemistry with this team. Like you said, I think this team is probably going to win 7 games, which I think will be a great move for them. That'll be more wins than last year. A team that's not really that talented winning this, they're going to take advantage of this weak schedule. But it was just good to see everybody pulling in, and not they were down 10 points. They could have just took the L. They came back and won it. So to see all of that, I think this is going to be a team a team that has talent. They're not going to make the playoffs, but they're going to be in every game, and they're going to make it competitive. And it's really all you can ask for as a Bears fan. And it was cool to see Justin giving the game balls to Flus and the Ryan Poles. Ryan Poles came out in the rain with no coat on and hugged Flus and hugged every player walked. You don't see general managers doing stuff like that, at least not with the Bears. So it's just little stuff like that was cool, that makes you feel like it's a new era. And they had catered breakfast yesterday, which never happens. So that was just the vibe I got. It was a cool win, and it's something to build off of, and a great way to start for this young team.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna get myself caught up in the, it was cool, the dive. Ryan Poles was hugging people, their brothers, and all this. It's because I got caught up in it when it was, oh man, Club Dub. This is a great way for a youthful team to show their exuberance. I don't care. The only thing that matters to me is dubs. All I care is dubs. I don't care if you hate each other. If you're winning, win. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I really don't care. You have to look at a team like Alabama. Alabama couldn't even drop the Texas horns because Nick Saban was like, cut that shit out as soon as they did it.
Yeah.
But what happens? They still win. Whether you have one coach who's more youthful, doesn't care, allows you to celebrate, and you lose. Those things don't matter to me. The culture around the locker room is great, but I promise you, culture only takes you so far. The mentality that everybody has to win can be influenced by culture, but it also comes to the people that you bring in.
I mean, I agree with that, but it's not a bad thing either.
No, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I just don't care. Because like when somebody was talking about, even with the first half when Justin threw the interception, It was all bad, this, that, the third. And I was like, only thing I want from Gessie is to let him throw again. Let him throw again.
Which Justin said that it had a lot to do with the rain. That's why they ran the ball 38 times. And I had no problem with them running the ball, but I'm gonna need more creative runs. Like it was a lot where I felt like he was just he was like halfback dive.
It was definitely some bad rain. The problem is there were periods which they took advantage in the second half where they could pass more. There's periods in the first quarter where they could pass more, and the 49ers pass more. Now, of course, they will have it hopefully better in Green Bay. This is why I'm pushing for domes at every stadium across the NFL. I don't care anymore. I don't care about football weather. I want to play in even conditions. I want to see scoring. You know what I'm saying? Back in the 1950s, when the gridiron football was going on and you're rushing, like, that's fine. That's fine. I thought to myself yesterday, it's probably hilarious. It probably would be hilarious to be a defensive coordinator in the 50s. I'm just gonna sit in the house every play. You're not gonna pass. What, you gonna run a triple option and then throw a pass? No. So I am pushing for completely closed.
Yeah, I don't want that across the league. I mean,
I want it across the league.
Nah, I
want completely closed domes.
Nah, like I don't want like look. I don't even.
I actually want open basketball domes, which is hilarious. Let the sun bother your eyes when you shoot a three.
No, like I don't want that across the league. I just said it for the Bears. Like
I do want basketball to take place at NFL stadiums, like randomly. That'd be hilarious. That'd be pretty cool.
They did that one time with the All-Star game in 2010 when they was a Jerry. Well, I ain't like it. It looked terrible.
They were at Dallas?
Yeah, for the All-Star game in 2010. You know,
I
when
thought Dallas is partially open, or is it open? Or they can open it.
No, it's a retractable roof, but it don't ever really be open. But Justin Fields, he was his stats was 8 for 17, 121 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. What would you grade Justin? Like, let's take zoom out whole performance, not just second half. I know, even though I wrote big second half on here, but like zoom out his overall performance in this game.
B minus. I don't care about completion percentage. I care about yards, touchdowns, how you're throwing it. I don't care about completion percentage in this game. And the interception, I thought that was him realizing that there's limited opportunities for me to throw the ball. I'm going to have to sling it. And he put the ball in a position where it ain't going to work. And what was it? What was the dude's name? Hua Fanga on the 49ers? The nigga was everywhere.
You mean Troy Polamalu's second coming?
Nigga was everywhere. Whether it was a sack, a run stop, a fumble, something. He was interception. He was everywhere. And I thought to myself, they don't respect you passing the ball, but that doesn't mean you have to force it. And then once they started respecting you passing the ball, you run it. And then once they click on that run, you pass it. It's always that perfect balance. If there's one thing that I admired about the Packers, at least in the last 10 years, it's the correct mix of running and passing. They're not a dedicated running team. They're a passing team. But they know how to mix it up enough where you say, damn, okay, hold on. And then by that time, they already scored. And that's what the Bears did the second half. And that's what I thought to myself, like, Luke Gessie, you're a good play caller. You've been praised by people around you. Somebody like Aaron Rodgers calling you play caller. I don't care about his takes on family, but him calling you a good play caller is a very good and very.
And Aaron did say he was upset about Gessie being gone. Like him and Nathaniel Hackett, who's the Broncos coach, as we were watching Monday Night Football getting ready to kick off. I forgot that Joe Buck and Troy Aikman were commentating Monday Night Football.
We better hurry this up because I want to watch football. Even I'm going to turn this off at halftime. I don't think this is going to be good.
I'm watching one quarter of this tops. But my grade for Justin, I'll give him a B. I'll give him a B. The first half was rough. I feel like he was trying to force it. I do believe in first game jitters, and I do think there's a little bit of first game jitters.
There's first game jitters in every quarterback in the league, except Lamar Jackson and Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert is so cold.
And Tom Brady.
Tom Brady had jitters.
Tom Brady didn't want to go home. That's that is. Giselle making this nigga sleep on the couch. That's what Brady was looking like.
Everybody had jitters. Joe forget what you call it. Joe Burrow.
Patrick
jitters.
Didn't have it yesterday. Oh no. Dropping Peen off on the Cardinals yesterday.
Yeah, you can't even say consider the team. Cardinals aren't a bad team, but they looked awful.
Definitely. Shout out our guy Zach in the comments, man. One of our most faithful listeners, man. Shout out to you for watching and listening, man. But I give him a B. Like, it's all about how you come back. You know, so I don't care about picks. Me and you have said this 100 times. I do not care about interceptions. As long as your interception count is not over 15, I don't care. Like, this is the NFL. This is a passing league. Niggas throw picks. How many picks did Joe Burrow throw yesterday? Like 4?
5.
It was ridiculous. Am I worried about Joe Burrow? No. He'll be fine. So it's really how you bounce back. Like you said a couple minutes ago, it's not about the pick. It's like
he threw 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions.
Okay. Like you said,
he was 34-14 the year before. He gonna throw them.
He gonna throw picks. Like you said, like it's about Luke Getsy letting him throw again. Like, are you gonna let the man throw again? And so it's like the second half came. He's like, look, I'm like you said, I'm gonna run, be around, and move the pocket if break plays. And he was the catalyst of this comeback. He made some big plays, big touchdowns, man. And just, you can see the confidence just being around Justin. It's like compared to last year. Of course, he's a rookie last year, but it kind of felt like he was like, and you were around him more than I was last year. But I don't know about you. It felt like, they was kind of like attesting to, he was just like, he was quiet. I mean, he's quiet, but you on the field, you see a swagger coming out of him now. We didn't really see that last year. It's like this year's like he knows this is his team. Like, as you see, he got the C on his chest and everything. And just this whole team is adopting the mantra, as I'm naming this up. We call them the hit squad. Of course, they're adapting the hits principle that Eberflus has, which stands for hustle, intensity, takeaways, and playing smart. And that was something that even Eddie Jackson said he thought was corny at first, but everybody's buying into it. And you really seeing it from front to back and just how the whole team is adjusting to it. So I give Justin a B for a second half overall. And I think there's something to build on. And the good thing is this: they're not going to see many defenses as good as the one they saw yesterday.
No,
like for the rest of the year, they really not. So that
I'm actually trying to see like
the Packers defense got torched last year. They were leaving. Justin Jefferson was killing, but he was wide open. They were leaving that nigga open.
But that's the sign of a shitty defense.
Yeah, and that's my point exactly. And everybody's been gassing that Packers defense. Now, we're not going to talk about this game. We'll be on the preview pod and everything like that. But
let me just go with Packers, Texans, Giants, Vikings. Vikings got a good defense. Commanders, Patriots got a good defense. Cowboys, Dolphins, Lions, Falcons, Jets. Packers, Eagles, Bills got a good defense. Lions, Vikings. Eagles had a solid defense, I guess. You gave up 28 to the. You gave up 30-something to the Lions. Not sure about that.
I mean, you never know who.
But I do think the hardest was who they just faced in the Bills.
Yeah, exactly. What Christmas Eve is gonna be nasty.
It's gonna be nasty.
Put the kids to bed. Don't get you.
It's gonna be nasty.
I'm expecting a bad game. Get you some egg. I'm just hoping they got like some festive cookies for us at the game because that's gonna get nasty. Like
they for Christmas.
Yeah, that's Christmas Eve. They putting up 40. Joshua is putting up 40.
Hey man, the three best quarterbacks in my opinion are not in no order: Mahomes, Josh, and Herbert. Yes. Those are the three best in the league. Because man, Josh Allen and Herbert just got that patience that I'm gonna find somebody open and you ain't gonna be able to catch it.
Yeah.
And what he did on Thursday, I was like, it's a bad.
I'm glad you said Herbert because a lot of niggas then got that Bengals suit, and I love Joe Burrow. He's not better than Justin Herbert yet.
No.
He's not. Let's relax on that. But
and the fact that it's an Oregon QB doing this I'm just as shocked.
Yeah.
But there's someone will always break the tide,
which is why I don't want to hear that Ohio State crap.
Justin Fields gonna break that tie. CJ Stroud not that guy though. My Buckeye fans, I love him. He's not that guy.
You've been saying that since the offseason. Like
he hasn't shown anything that makes you think he's gonna be a stud. He's great for college, and I guess for us as Buckeyes, maybe that's all that matters. But going into the NFL, I'd never draft him. At least not now. I haven't seen anything.
Yeah.
It's the same with Jalen Hurts. I didn't see anything with Bama, but then he got to Oklahoma, and I was like, maybe. That's not bad. I see he looks a little bit improved, and he's a solid quarterback.
He's all right.
I don't think he'll go anywhere beyond that.
He's smooth.
He's a solid quarterback.
Let's talk about the offensive line. Very rough first half. Better second half, still not great. What would you give your grade? What's your overall thoughts on the line? Them moving Lucas Patrick around and Tevin Jenkins rotation at right guard. Flu said today that they're going to evaluate that and to see how they're going to go, but he liked how they look. What was your opinion on the line?
I am of the ilk that Sam Mustipher needs to be deported to the nearest country we can find. I'm not sure what country that will be, but something. I don't think he's a good center, not even remotely. This is no disrespect to him as a man. I'm sure he's a hard worker and a good person, but he's not a good center in the NFL. Lucas Patrick is clearly a good lineman. And when Lucas Patrick arm is better, make him the permanent center. I like what I see in Tevin Jenkins. I like what I see in Cody Whitehair. So you get that interior set and we'll be cool. Larry Borum's soft. He's serviceable. But if the opportunity comes, I would get somebody else. Braxton Jones just has to deal with the power and the strength of good linemen. That's just really what it is. Because he was getting babied. I mean, like, as soon as he would snap 5 yards back, and of course, you're dealing with someone. What's that nigga's name? Nick Bosa. Ku Klux Klan Bosa.
MAGA Bosa.
Where, I mean, it's going to happen. It's just going to happen. Because Nick Bosa was a part of just a series of incredible talent coming out of Ohio State. And it's not his fault that he has to, I mean, shoot. Nick Bosa, Chase Young. I mean, they're just Ohio State for the past few years has put
the other Bosa go there too?
Yeah, Joey.
Okay, yeah, so both Bosa.
It's not fair. It's not fair. And so you're gonna go against someone like Nick, who's better than his brother Joey. And I love Joey when he's Ohio State. Loved him.
Joey and Khalil Mack is gonna be dangerous. As we saw Khalil Mack look great last night. Looked amazing.
Listen to me very carefully.
Looked amazing.
Mack. Listen to me very carefully. You're under surveillance.
Looked amazing, man. Shout out to 52. But
Nick came back to a good team. Was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be cool again. I'm like,
I mean, the play was never the issue with Khalil. That nigga just couldn't stay healthy.
I know. I have nothing but the utmost love for Khalil.
I love Khalil.
I hope he wins the title.
Now that clown who played for the Rams is a different. I'm on A-Rob all year. I don't
have a personal issue with A-Rob.
Because
I will never convince someone of quitting on the team because I can't tell you unless it's like indisputable evidence.
He quit on the team.
I thought he was better than who he was. Then I realized, yeah.
But so what's your grade for him though?
The line? I give the line a C.
I give it a C minus. I still like people like they did better. They did. It was like they did better in the second half. I'm like, yeah, that's because they did so terrible in the first. Like, it's not good.
Close to a D.
Yeah, like
If this is one of my students' papers, I would say you passed. Congratulations!
The Bears' offensive line is me in college, just enough to get my degree. Yeah. That's 100% what it was just. Yeah, I don't like the rotation. I don't. I understand that Lucas Patrick has the club on his hand, so he can't fully, be a center yet. I will, and like Tevin Jenkins, like he had moments. Nobody was just great. Like it was just like, and Justin was on the run the whole game, even in the second half. Like, and so I just didn't think it was good. It looked as bad as advertised. The only positive thing I can say,
football zone, Broncos country.
That's right. The only positive thing I can say is they're not gonna see a D line like that till Buffalo when they see Vaughn in them. Vaughn, and
I was about to say something crazy.
Yeah, I know.
It was a setup.
Zach said that Hicks getting reps last night for the Bucks. Now, granted, I was intoxicated while watching that game. I saw a couple.
I didn't realize he was on the Bucks until I said, "Not Akeem Hicks, nigga."
Yeah, I don't think he had made any impact, but he was on the field.
He's on the downswing of his career, but you know,
he trying to get his ring. Shout out to Akeem.
I got nothing but love for Akeem. So I hope he gets a ring.
Yeah,
I don't really have any issue with most former Bears players except Julius Peppers.
Julius Peppers is dead to me.
Oh, he's absolutely dead. When he didn't win with the Packers, I celebrated like the birth of my child.
Yeah. When they lost in 2014, the NFC Championship game against the Seahawks for sure. Let's get into the Polls draft picks, man. I got a stat here. The Polls draft picks had a game yesterday. Second, of course, Jaquan Brisker. Hey, I know everybody wants a wide receiver. That was cool. But this guy is gonna be a stud, and on top of him being a stud is gonna help out Eddie Jackson, just like we saw yesterday. And I just want to say this about Bojack. I'm very happy for Bojack. I've been a Bojack fan, and I feel like part of it has been like he set the bar so high with takeaways in his first 2 years. That type of stuff ain't normal or sustainable. To the fact that people thought he was trash. And we talked about him. I'm gonna be real. Like, we talk about him if he plays bad. I said it on the show. We said it on the podcast. We said it all the time. We're not gonna sugarcoat
But remember
it.
when he was out, we was like, dang, they miss Eddie Jackson.
Right, exactly. When he was out, we missed Eddie Jackson, but we also gotta understand he been playing out of position for the last couple years. You got a legit strong safety, and I know y'all know how I feel about PFF Ronnie Lott, but he hit niggas, and like we missed him. I hate to say it, I can't believe I'm saying we missed Adrian Amos, and missing him is what made Bojack not as effective. So now you got a guy like Jaquan, it's just gonna make him better, and that's what he was saying in the post game too, and that's how he was able to get that pick. But Jaquan had played every snap, had 4 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and a fumble, recovery. Kyler Gordon played every snap, had 6 tackles, 1 tackle for loss. Braxton Jones, the only thing, he played every snap. It was mid, but he played every snap. Dominique Robinson. Poles might have found a gem. 5th round guy. He had 7 tackles, 1.5 sacks, and he hit the QB twice. He was all over the field. Even that first sack on Trey Lance, they put that nigga in a 3D. So I got to give it to Dominique Robinson, who had a really good camp too, really good preseason. And you're really seeing one thing we have not seen, that we did not see in the Ryan Pace era, was picks producing early, like consistently. And like the big picks, like, Pace was really good for getting you a 5th or 6th round nigga who played well. But the top picks didn't play well outside of Roquan, which nigga, I could have drafted Roquan. Everybody knew Roquan was a dog in Georgia. And by the way, Roquan was all over the field yesterday. All over the field. And I love how he really, players say I'm putting the contract talks behind me. No, he really did that. Like, he was hyped yesterday. He was hyped today. He was happy we was talking to him today. So
if Pose is as smart of a GM as I think, if Roquan is continue this by week 9, print that extension up.
Right there. Yeah. Right then and there. But yes, I think it was just cool. It was dope to see the draft picks have a good game. Kyler Gordon had 1 tackle that was really, really good. I think it was like on a 3rd down that stopped easy run play.
I'm sorry, that was just an insane DK Metcalf catch. Jesus.
The Geno Smith era back. But I thought it was good. What you think about the Poles picks?
I think Poles is a good drafter. Poles had a good first draft because these picks are producing early. Trenton Gill is a pick, and he was flipping the field as best as he could. I mean, something he was backed into a corner, and he was doing really good. Yeah, I really liked all his picks. I'm really looking forward to Velus Jones finally playing.
Well, Flus did say that it was better. I think they didn't want to play him because of the rain. That's what I personally think. We'll see if he practices.
Ailing injury,
yeah,
slippery conditions,
same hamstring to bother him all camp. But he's gonna pay off from a quickness. Also with the kick returns, because they was backed up all second half too. They had a lot to do with it too. With Velus returning kicks, that's gonna help them position wise.
Yeah. I'm not. I feel like when you're drafting a kick returner, as I said, you should draft a kick returner.
Yes.
Draft somebody for that role or invest in somebody for that role. Kevontae Turpin on, wow, Geno Smith going crazy. I'm sorry. Oh, my goodness, it's a touchdown.
Geno Smith era.
Oh, my goodness. Geno Smith is back. I got to tweet that. Whatchamacallit? But what I liked about the Cowboys picking up someone like Kevontae Turpin, USFL MVP, and what did he do in the preseason? Lit it up. Unfortunately, he had no blocks for the Cowboys this past year, but he is your kick return specialist. And if he improves, you'll toss him in the offense a little every now and then, like a la Devin Hester. You toss Devin Hester in the offense when you need him. And so I'm really looking forward to someone like Velus, who did that at Tennessee. That was his goal. That was his role. And I wouldn't have played him, though. I'm interested to see how that Bears grass will do when it's not raining. It looked better, just visually.
Better, but the rain killed it, but it looked better than usual. But that's a very, very low bar.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but last topic before we pick our go crazy player of the game. What's the vibe? We think the vibe right now is heading into Green Bay. Like this is gonna be a game, national TV. You're gonna hear the waiting all day for Sunday night. I'm getting tired. And you know, every national game against the Packers is only in Lambeau. Like it's never on national TV at Soldier Field. It's always a Lambeau. Like them niggas like seeing us get embarrassed. Rodgers again. Now this is a situation. Of course, we'll fully preview it later this week. But Rodgers and them niggas lost yesterday, like I predicted on 2-minute drill. Got banged on. Rodgers gonna be pissed. That's what Roquan talked about too. But I'm just, I'm of course we all know I'm not picking the Bears to fucking win. Like I'm not stupid. Until these niggas actually do it, I'm not gonna pick them to win. But I think this game can be competitive. I think it can be competitive. We can see that Aaron Rodgers is already flustered with the Menards employees he's throwing that football to.
Somebody said Joe Buck and Jigga on Monday Night Football is weird.
So, but I think the team is ready. I think, Byron Pringle said today, he's like, we're just doing cleanup today, but, we don't like them. They don't like us. We don't like them. So we know what type of game it's going to be. And I was like, Packer week is here.
I will never be fooled into a lost sense of hope with the Packers to think, ooh, they had one bad game. They suck. No.
Yeah, of course not. They started 0-1 last year.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Show me the proof. So no, I'm not picking the Bears to win. As for my score, I don't know. I'm guessing.
No, we're doing that on the preview part.
I'm guessing the Bears will keep it competitive and Packers will put away like always. All I care about is Justin Fields' stat line.
Yes.
As long as that stat line.
That's all I care about with any game, honestly.
All I care about is that, and then you go from there. Also, though, I would not be shocked if the Bears won. Packers defense stinks. Packers offense stinks. But can Aaron Rodgers turn it around? Because it's not going to be on the play calling. I didn't mind the play calls they make. I don't think they have the skill players.
Well, you remember the game at Lambeau last year? We had like a 10-point lead on them. And then, and Jalen did a great job on Devontae. I think the secondary is going to be a big key in this game. But, of course, we'll do the full preview. I was just talking about the vibes of this. I'll say this. I think the vibes are good. This team is feeling good. But that bad man, you got to go to his block now, dog. Like
I will never choose the Bears over the Packers until they win that.
Yeah, until they do it. Like, I don't like the nigga, but I ain't stupid.
To be the man, in the words of Ric Flair, to be the man, woo, you got to beat the man.
Yes. So, who's your go crazy player of the game?
Justin Fields. There came a point in time where he was called upon to do more with his legs, to make decisions that included him being able to get out the pocket, and then finding his open receivers and to remain calm at a time when this inexperienced O-line or lack of chemistry O-line or just untalented O-line was getting beat up. And he took that and he ran with it. So him and Luke Getsy would be my players of the game, even though Luke Getsy is a coach.
I'm gonna give the ball. I'm gonna give 2 game balls. I'm gonna give my go crazy player of the game to Justin Skylar Fields, and I'm gonna give the other one to Dominique Robinson. Man, I just love what I've seen from Dominique. In the camp, doing preseason. Yesterday, he's been all over the field. He was a late round pick. He used to play wide receiver. And he's just been a cool dude, to talk to, too. So just to see his growth and everything has been fun. So I'm going to give those 2 game balls to him. And I know a lot of people's like, well, we don't need David Montgomery. No, nigga. I like Khalil Herbert. But Demo will be better. All I ask Getsy next week, more creative runs. I have no problem with running the ball 38 times. I have no problem with that in the rain. I have no problem with that. Just be more creative with the runs, man. But that's all we got for y'all today. I know me and my brother both been watching football, and I've been busy all day, and I'm tired. If you missed the stream, I'm about to upload the audio right now to all our Instagram, all our pop podcast platforms. You'll be hearing this in a second. To follow us on Twitter at Barberchair Scott, at Flows Andolini, at Barberchair Not Net.
Somebody just got trucked. Sorry.
At 79th and Halas, that's 79th A&D. Halas, visit thebcnet.com. Subscribe to our Patreon.
New writings will be up. I'm going to have a writing up on Wednesday. So I will
check that out.
I will send it to Scott.
Pierce has a writing up about the Eagles. Check that out.
So it's going to be. I'm doing a lot more writing this year because I want my blue check mark. I'm coming for you, Twitter.
You want your verified
I'm coming
mark?
for you, Twitter.
So we coming for that. Patreon.com/Barbershop Network. If you want to hear the preview pod now, of course, to let y'all know we're not gonna have final injury reports with them because we're gonna be recording on Wednesdays because that's the best for my brother's schedule. So we're gonna record on Wednesdays, but it'll be dropping on Fridays. So subscribe to the Patreon. If you don't want the $10 all access package, you can subscribe to the $5.79 Halas package to get all the podcasts, man. So check that out. Yeah, man, and that's pretty much all we got for y'all today, man. Bears win. Bears 1-0. We're gonna see how the rest of the season goes, man. We out.